itself became like a commercial service more than just dedicated religious service. The church now, with the big help that Pope Shenouda has done in it, have established itself as a self-sustained church where you really have priests dedicated to service and not worried about, their worldly survival from the financial point of view. And I think that partially was helped not only by the good givers in Egypt, but also by the big support that comes from the people around immigration land. Not only the States, Canada, Australia, Europe. And one of the unique things that have happened here with the church in the land of immigration is that they start helping the church in Egypt to go out in Africa and serve the Lord in Africa, which is something that is really wonderful and very admirable to see how much was done. So some of the funds that go from the churches here in the United States or in the land of immigration is to help the missionary work that the church have started in Africa. Of course, everything started in Kenya at the beginning with Antonius Marcos, and then he moved south until he has established the church both in Kenya and now in South Africa and many of the countries around there. So we have now actually have grown the missionary service to the extent that it merits now to have two bishops. Antonius Marcos, he is now in South Africa, the country of South Africa, and the neighboring countries, and Ambabola, or Ambabolis. He is in Kenya right now and serves again the neighboring countries. So again, these are some of the benefits of having the church in the land of immigration, and the advantages and the hand of the Lord making use out of any of our worldly plan to the glory of His name. And all of that could not have obviously been helped by people that are, if we were all stayed in Egypt. So the hand of the Lord usually has His way. We may think that there's a benefit for us to leave the country and come here for financial well-being or something like this, but never fails. The Lord always finds a way to make use out of the lack of wisdom of us as human to make it for His glory. And I believe this was all very evident in what we could see as a result of the many churches that are here, the many churches that are all over the place in the land of immigration. We are somehow unique if we adhere to our belief. Whether we're Coptic, in general, if we are Christians, we owe it to our Lord that we should be distinguished. We are His children, and we need to give Him glory through our actions. And that makes us distinguished from anybody else. Our behavior should glorify the Lord. And we do a lot of things. For example, what distinguishes us as Copts more than anybody else is fasting. And we do fast a lot. And in a position like I hold, I have a lot of guests, I have a lot of people that I have to entertain. And it becomes very interesting when go through some of the fasting. And of course it becomes something that is you cannot avoid by adhering to the fasting because you wanted to entertain somebody else, and becomes a subject of introducing. I found it a very interesting way and a very simple way of introducing some of the beliefs I have as a Copt to other people around me, without really offending them or without really making them feel that I'm trying to speak about religion. Some of the things like this, we have a lot of ceremonies in the church that sometimes we have to leave work to go attend those, like the feasts of the Lord. They don't normally coincide on Sundays, and the fact that these are very important feasts that we need to celebrate them out of respect to our faith and out of respect to the Lord, that also is something that brings some distinction in the relationship, and you have to leave work and you have to come to work late or something like that, and that brings usually a nice way of bringing those subjects to the work atmosphere without really, again, making something that offends anybody. It's a very simple way to talk to people and bring the Lord into your workplace, bring the Lord into your neighbors, and bring the Lord to your friends. I think it's a wonderful idea for us to be able to work together. I know there was an attempt to do Egyptian engineers, not necessarily Copts. And I know the Canadians have succeeded to do this a lot better than us in the States here. And I think it's an excellent idea. We need to find each other, at least so that we know who is who and where are we. And I think this is a good project for people to be able to find some place who is who in engineering and who is doing what, especially if we are all Copts. There are a lot of things we can do together, not only to help each other here, but also to help some of the newcomers. There are a lot of people that are coming and need to find jobs and things like that. And if we don't know to start with who we are and where we're working and what we're doing, how can we help other people? I think it's very important.
I know there is some efforts done in California to get the Egyptian doctors together. Also, I just read in the newspaper Watani, I think there is another effort is going in France or Europe to get the doctors, the Coptic doctors together. We haven't started that here in Chicago because we are still not as big community as in California or as in New York. But I think maybe in the future we'll try to do something, especially after I have some time, if I retire, to try to get some of the physicians, then I will have more time to put in a gathering like this.
My message to the Copts: we should maintain our heritage. We should not forget our background or people back in Egypt, and we should not forget our church or our principles and morals. We have history goes back to 2,000 years of Christianity and 5,000 years of civilization, and we should not leave that behind our back and look for something new. I think if we can apply this message to anything in our life, I think that will be a very big and strong message.
This country, as good as it is and as good as the opportunities it offers, but also it offers a lot of alternative living. And we need to take heed of that. We need to steadfast, close to the church, sustain the fellowship that we have, and really be very, very keen in maintaining our Coptic faith. It is very important because, again, I said there is a big advantage in this country of having a diversification of venues that one can pursue, but it also has very, very unlimited ways of diversions for people that can indulge into it. And the way to support ourselves and stay away from some of the temptations of the world and some of the things that are really not quite prudent to indulge in it,